The college football show on the Coach T podcast, presented by Turner Sports Training, TST.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Hey. You know what time it is? Yeah. You know what time it is? Some people are probably like, what time is it? You know what time it is.
It's showtime.
Fans. Let me clap this up. It's been too long. Been way too long, Mook. We are officially back, fresh off of Christmas, smelling like pine trees and fresh gifts, I'm sure. Fresh off the Christmas break, man, that's been wonderful. I guess it wasn't a break. I mean, just a Christmas holiday. I had a great time with my family. My son, Tyson, who is now 18 months now, I mean, he can thoroughly enjoy. This is his second Christmas, but it was almost like his first in terms of what he's actually able to enjoy in toys and kind of run around and be around family. So that is my Christmas deal. I guess we'll cut right to that, man. How was your Christmas with your family? Hopefully you guys had a great one.
It was really nice to see, everybody, and, I had some family come in from out of town, got to catch up with them. But, you're right. It's a funny thing having two boys on my own. Like their first Christmas, they're always just kind of this prop. You just kind of like pass them off to people and they get pictures and they're just kind of drooling and looking around and whatever. But that next Christmas, when they're kind of mobile a little bit and they start like, whoa, I like toys and wrapping paper and, that kind of stuff. The Christmas magic kind of starts then, So, I totally know what you're saying with that.
Yeah. I mean, Christmas is a special time for me personally because my birthday is actually 3 days before Christmas, December 22nd. So, and my mother-in-law, her birthday is actually the day before mine. And then my nephew, his birthday is actually New Year's Eve. And Tyson, my son, he is exactly 6 months. His birthday is 6 months after mine or before mine. So when I turn, my birthday this month, he turned 18 months because we're exactly 6 months apart. So Christmas time is a really good time. Beyond that, obviously, you're spending time with family, friends, loved ones. It's a little different, the last few years with with COVID and all that, as we all know. But I mean, I feel like we still got a chance my family, we still got a chance to see each other, hang out with one another, and enjoy the festivities together as much as we possibly could. So fans, I hope you guys did the same thing. And now we're rejuvenated, man. We're close to New Year's. Speaking of New Year's, we're going to be going over the New Year's Six Bowls. We're also going to be going over the college football playoffs, of course. We told you guys, fans, we said, look, last time we were on the show, we were just going to hit on the college football playoff matchups. Tonight, this episode, we're going to dive deep and dig deep into those matchups and actually pick winners for those games. So let's go right to the bowls. Before we hit on obviously the larger bowls or the large scale bowls, let's talk about just some of the other ranked matchups that are coming up. One that's upcoming will actually be tomorrow, and that will be number 14 Oregon versus number 16 Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they are 6.5 point favorites. 60.5 is the over under. Oregon, they are 10-3 on the year. Two of those losses being to Utah, and beat Ohio State. So yeah, two of Oregon's losses came to Utah, which they will be playing Ohio State in a bowl that I think we'll hit on a little bit later. But Oregon, they are 6-12 against the spread in their last 18 games. That's not good, fans. And Oklahoma, in their last 20 games overall, they've won 18 of them. So Mook, just give me your general sense of how you're feeling about this game. Now, I will preface by saying it is very tough with all the opt-outs, with the COVID issues. We had a game canceled tonight, the UCLA and NC State game, which I was actually really looking forward to. That would have been an awesome game. So we're under the pretense that these games will actually happen, and that the players that haven't opted out yet, they're still playing in these games. So I mean, it's tricky times when it comes to sports in general. So with that being said, Mook, I pick the winner and for this game, and let the fans know how you feel about it.
Well, it's just a game that probably a month ago I felt a lot different than I do now, just because of the fact that you had two coaching staffs in place getting ready to head into the ball game. Now you got two new units coming in with Venables going into Oklahoma, and I think Danny Lanning is coming into Oregon. So what the leftovers of these, what remains with the assistants getting them ready, is going to make this game very, interesting to see how it unfolds. I honestly feel like there's more momentum in some ways for Oklahoma going into this game than I think with Oregon. I think that although they both had the situations where their coach left for quote unquote better opportunity, I feel like it's a more fresh start at Oklahoma with the players that they do have remaining than at Oregon. It still feels like Oregon was kind of getting it handed to them the last couple times they faced Utah and just in general. So my general feeling is that we're going to see a couple more freshened up teams, but I like Oklahoma in this ball game. And that said, I have not picked very well at these bowl games due to a lot of different reasons, but so take that for what it's worth, but give me the Sooners in this one.
All right, I like it. I'm trying to look to see who are the interim coaches for this game. I won't even bore you guys trying to figure this out, but obviously Lincoln Riley will not be there, and then Mario Cristobal will be in Miami hanging out, chilling in the warm weather. So when it comes to this game, again, a lot of things. I mean, Oregon's, probably the number one player on everyone's draft board, or at least the top 5. Thibodeau, I mean, he's their defensive end. He's opted out for this game. I'm pretty sure about that. He's opted out for this game. He won't be playing. Caleb, what's his name? Caleb Williams? Is that the quarterback for Oklahoma? Yeah. Okay. You can tell I haven't done this in a while.
It's been a while.
So he'll still be playing. So, you can count on that. Oregon will still have their quarterback who transferred in from BC a year or two ago. So he'll be playing there. Honestly, I hate to join forces so early, but I'm going to go with Oregon here. I'm sorry, I'm going to go with Oklahoma, and I probably should go with Oregon now. The fact that that even slipped out of my mouth, but I will take Oklahoma as well. And the reasons being is that offensively, they're a better offense. They're number 37 in the country versus number 78 in Oregon, and then defensively, they're both bad. So I'd rather have the team that has the better quarterback. They both have interim coaches. Oregon has obviously had success. Oklahoma has had success. So both these teams have been here before, but I just feel like Oklahoma has a better quarterback, and stats wise, they have the better offense. And I feel like a lot of points will be scored in this game. So I would definitely take Oklahoma, and I like a lot of points to be scored, a lot of fireworks in this matchup. Another matchup that involves some ranked teams, that will be for tomorrow as well, Wednesday, December 29th. That will be Iowa State versus number 19 Clemson. Clemson, they are 2.5 point favorites here, and 44 is the over-under. Clemson, they've won 5 of the last 5 games, and in those 5 games, they're 4-1 against the spread. Iowa State, in their last 23 games overall, they are 16-7, and the total has gone over in 6 of Iowa State's last 9 games in general. Mook, pick the winner.
Boy, I tell you what, if earlier in the year when Clemson was scuffling, I might have taken Iowa State in this game. They figured a lot of things out defensively, and offensively they've gotten much better. They still DJU isn't playing great at quarterback, but they're definitely moving the football a lot more. Now I love Breece Hall and Brock Purdy. I just don't know athletically if they can keep up with Clemson in this one. So I like the speed of Clemson's defense to make some plays in this, and maybe you hold Breece Hall in the check and give me Clemson in this.
I don't know if it's a trick being played on us or what, but I do not see why Clemson is less than a field goal favorite in this matchup. That is very surprising to me. If we're talking just fun, like I would take Iowa State. If we're talking actual hard-earned money that you work for, you take Clemson. So for me, I don't see a reason why Clemson loses this game. Obviously, it's a bowl game. You don't know who's going to be in, who's going to be out, COVID, yada, yada. But Clemson, the second half of the year, they've looked like Clemson. And when Clemson is clicking on all cylinders, I don't care what year it is, only being, having a quote-unquote down year, they're still a top 20 team. And this year, if they're playing in this game, if they're playing anything like they did the second half of this season, they should win by more than a field goal in this matchup. But trickier things happen. But with that being said, I just feel like at the end of the day, Clemson wins this game. It's a pride game for Clemson. You don't want to lose to a Big 12 team. I know Iowa State is one of those teams that sneaks up on people, but I don't think they're going to sneak up on Clemson, especially having, a month rest and a month of film and a month of practice going through what they need to clean up for Clemson. And I think they'll be as sharp as ever for this game. So give me the Tigers. All right, what do we have next? This will be Thursday, the next ranked matchup. We have Thursday, December 30th. We have number 12 Pittsburgh versus number 10 Michigan State. I do not know what bowl this is. Let me find out. Oh, nice. This is the Peach Bowl. So Michigan State in the Peach Bowl, they are 2.5-point favorites, and 56 is the over-under. Pittsburgh, they are winners of their last 5 games. And in those 5 games, Pittsburgh, they are 4-1 against the spread. Michigan State, in 4 of their last 5 games, the total has gone over, and they are 10-2 on the season overall. Mook, pick the winner.
So another game that loses kind of some luster with Pitt being the prolific offense they are. Their offensive coordinator off in Nebraska, and I believe Kenny Pickett is not playing.
Let me check.
I'm not 100% on that, but I thought he was opting out of this game. If that's the case, against a Michigan State secondary that is you can eat them up. It kind of evens things up for me a little bit.
Yes, Kenny Pickett has opted out.
Okay, so so for me that part, I don't know what you're going to have in the next man up. I know they got Keaton Slovis coming, but he can't play this game. So it's going to be interesting what kind of offense you're going to see out of Pitt. I kind of feel like that maybe this is an opportunity, even though Pitt's played some pretty good defense against the run in the ACC. I think maybe you're going to see more of a rushing attack from Michigan State that you kind of, it hit them kind of with Kenneth Walker. Is he playing? Is he in or is he out?
He seemingly, with reports, he's opting out.
Okay, so
and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's the first round. He's gonna be a millionaire soon.
He's the top pick. So
that's a world of college football now, Mook.
That's it.
You know what
I mean? You're looking for Thorne to throw the ball a little bit, and I guess I'm gonna flip it then and go back to taking Pitt in this one. I think without that running game to kind of dictate the pace. I think Pitt can stop them defensively. So give me the Panthers in the Peach Bowl win.
Yeah, I like Panthers as well, or the Panthers. I mean, but also like Michigan State because, they just had a really good thing rolling this year. This is honestly a great matchup. It's actually unfortunate that both the top 2 players for each team will not be playing. But one player that will be playing, it's Pittsburgh's Blitnikoff winner, Jordan Addison.
Yes.
Who we talked about earlier in the year. I'm like, man, this kid is so good. Like, I feel like no one was talking about him. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, he wins the top receiver award. I think he had 19 touchdowns on the season, which is incredible. He had almost 1,500 yards, He averaged over 110 yards a game, had 93 receptions, and had 17 touchdowns. So, I mean, he is phenomenal. He's going to be playing. Obviously, that gives him a super boost on offense. He's going to be the best player on the field without a doubt. But a part of me says, you know what? Michigan State can still do Michigan State things. And without Kenny Pickett, Michigan State won't have Kenneth Walker III, right? The best running back arguably in the nation. But that's a running back. When you're talking about the quarterback that was up for the Heisman and he's not playing, it's hard for me to take that team. So I'm going to take Michigan State. I'm going to go against you there. And I don't think stats really matter right now. A lot of times I like to throw stats out when they're really close when it comes to bowl season. And these teams are ironically similar teams, somewhat close on offense and defense in terms of their stats. So I'm going to go with the team that still has their starting quarterback. And I'm going to go with the team that, typically in a close game, in a hard fought game, they seemingly know how to pull it out at the end. So I'm going to go Michigan State. All right, Mook. Next, we have, what do we have? We have the next ranked matchup. All right, this will be, I'm surprised by this. I don't know how they're playing in the bowl game, but Rutgers is playing number 17 Wake Forest. This will be in this is the Gator Bowl. Nice. All right. Wake Forest, they are 15-point favorites here. 62 is the over-under. Wake Forest this season, they are 10-3. Rutgers in their last 8 games, and this is not a good sign if you're a Rutgers fan, they are 2-6 against the spread. The total has gone over in 6 of Wake Forest's last 9 games. However, the total has gone under in 5 of the last 7 games for Rutgers. Mook, let's pick the winner.
Rutgers replaced somebody. Miami, maybe? Somebody had to opt out of this game, and Rutgers was the
someone had to, for sure.
They had 6 wins, so they were the next bowl eligible team.
Yeah.
Wake Forest is just an offensive
head and shoulders above Rutgers.
Yeah. I think that Schiano's going to do some pretty good things at Rutgers because he's already got the recruiting classes way up.
And he's done it before.
Yeah. He's won where nobody else has won at Rutgers. And I think he's going to get there. Offensively, Wake Forest is just too much for him. There's too much firepower. I just think that A.T.
Perry.
It's a nice story. Yeah, A.T. Perry.
Your guy.
Hartman, I just Hartman to A.T. Perry. Rutgers isn't stopping that. They may give up some points to Rutgers, but Rutgers is not stopping that. So give me Wake Forest in this one for sure.
Yeah, Wake Forest in this matchup, you said it. I mean, I'd be surprised if this is within 3 scores. Honestly, one of the larger spreads that you can find in any of these bowl games. I mean, Rutgers was a replacement team, so Wake Forest is playing the replacements. Remember that old movie with Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the kicker that would smoke cigarettes on the field and then put it out. I love that movie. Rutgers is the replacements. I mean, that's what they are. And I don't think they will have any success like that team had in the movie, because this is not a movie. This is real life. And Wake Forest in real life, as the kids say, RIRL in real life, right? Yeah, there you go. That's the acronym. Right. In real life, Wake Forest gets it done. And Wake Forest is head and shoulders. We talked about it over Rutgers. I don't even have to belabor the point. I see Wake Forest winning by, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. And I think they will be able to score at will. I think Hartman, he's going to want to show out. A.T. Perry, he's going to want to show out. Dave Clawson? What's the head coach for Wake Forest?
Yeah, Clawson.
Dave Clawson. I think he's really going to want to show out. And this, again, if this was a regular season game where, you're playing another game week after week, maybe Rutgers could catch this team, slipping, right? And maybe they can make it close for Wake Forest. But the fact that you have 3-4 weeks of time to get everything right, to watch film, to get extra practices in, I just think that doesn't bode well for Rutgers being that replacement team, because they didn't even know they were playing in this game until, God knows when. So Wake Forest, they had a bigger mission this year. They've kind of had the dream season for them. And I think it continues here, and they go out with a big bang. So Wake Forest big. All right. What everyone has been waiting for, the college football playoffs. And we're going to dive deep into these games. So we have 2 of those matchups, obviously. And then after those games, we'll hit on the New Year's Bowls. So New Year's 6, right? That's what they call them. Yeah. So before we do that, let's talk about the college football playoffs. So you have Cincinnati, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan. I'm going to ask you, Mook, what would you like to begin with? Which game?
I would start with the Cincinnati, Bama.
Cincinnati and Bama. Okay.
And
so,
Bama.
Yeah. Alabama, they are 13.5 point favorites here. 57 is the over under, and this is technically the Cotton Bowl, right? So perfect. Yeah. So this is the Cotton Bowl, and this will be played in Arlington, Texas, at the Dallas Cowboy at Jerry's World. So that'd be nice to see. Let me pull up some trends here. Cincinnati, that obviously are winners of the last 5 games. Alabama, same thing. Alabama, in their last 23 games overall, they have covered the spread 15 of those. They're 15-8 there. And then in Cincinnati, in their last 7 games, 5 of them have gone under the total. So with that, those are little tidbits, that little bit of information, Mook, let's pick the winner.
I thought about different ways that Cincinnati could win this game, and I can't come up with one right now. One of the biggest reasons for that is the fact that Nick Saban's had a little extra time to get ready. Cincinnati's got some NFL guys in the back half of their defense. That's good. That's a good thing for them. I don't know if they completely match up. Their defense versus the Alabama offense, but I think that they can move the ball on Alabama as well. I just think overall, when the rubber meets the road, Nick Saban had a little extra time, and also just the pure athleticism, size, speed, and maybe most of all is just the experience of being there as a program that's there year after year after year. I think it says, it's going to go a long way towards getting Alabama over this game. I hope Cincinnati makes it a good game. I think Ritter's a heck of a player, and I just think that at the end of the day, it's going to be kind of tough sledding for them. I think they'll move the ball, but I don't think they'll be able to keep up with Bama.
Yeah, it's hard to make a case for Cincinnati, to be honest. And let's just go through the stats, fans. We talk about offense. Cincinnati, they are 62nd in total yards. Alabama, they are 9th. Passing yards, Cincinnati's 83rd. Alabama's 11th. Rushing yards, Cincinnati's 76th. Alabama's 139th. Okay, so leg up Cincinnati in the run game. Points per game, they're both top 10. Defensively, Cincinnati's 34th in total yards allowed. Alabama's 35th. Passing yards allowed, Cincinnati's 16th. Alabama's 140th. Rushing yards, Cincinnati is 90th. Alabama's 5th. They only allow 81 yards a game rushing. And points per game, Cincinnati's 130th. They allow 16 points a game. Alabama, they are 145th in the country. They allow 20 points a game. All right, so I know you guys probably won't remember that unless you're looking at it. But seemingly what it looks like is that if you're just going just off of stats, Mook, Cincinnati, they're the better rushing team. And they seemingly can score just as much as Alabama. Clearly the competition that they played this year is a little bit different than Alabama playing in the SEC.
Right.
And then defensively, total yards allowed, they average the same amount. And against the pass, Cincinnati is one of the best. They're 16th in the country. Alabama's not one of the best. They're 140th. But against the run, it's complete opposite. Cincinnati is 90th and Alabama's 5th. So, if you're just looking at stats here, Cincinnati running the ball, they may be able to run the ball, but not against the 5th ranked defense. And then if you talk about Alabama passing the ball because they're 11th, now they're going against a 16th ranked passing defense. So, it's a lot of different ways to look at it. Obviously, I just mentioned it. Sometimes you can't even look at these stats because these games are so large, so big. I mean, the bright lights. I mean, this is what these kids dream of doing, playing in the college football playoffs. And again, you're giving Nick Saban extra time. You're also giving, Coach Fickell extra time, right? If he's worth, his salt, I mean, he's got to be a coach that, he's as well prepared, as maybe not as Nick Saban, but he should be up there in terms of being prepared for this game and having his players prepared for this game. 13.5 is kind of what I'm looking at. I would love a scenario where, maybe David knocks out Goliath, right? Pulls out a slingshot and hits him right between the eyes. But I don't know if Cincinnati has enough unless you just get some crazy wild plays, which could happen, right? Defensive scores or special team scores or just turnovers by Alabama that just, give Cincinnati short field. And I don't want to count Cincinnati out. I actually like Cincinnati to cover this number. I think that's going against what traditional thinking would think, and what, Joe Public would think, right? You think Alabama, number 1 team. I mean, all they got to do is win by 2 scores. But I got a little more respect for Cincinnati there. I think they will keep it tough or keep it close, at least initially. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the 4th quarter, right? Alabama's kind of known for pouring it on at the end. But if Cincinnati can find a way to slow this game down, if they can find a way to efficiently run the ball, right? First down, they're getting 4 more yards. They're in manageable second down, third downs. They're not giving up a ton of huge plays. And I think they can get that done against Alabama, at least in the pass game, because their defensive pass defense is pretty good. And I know John Mechie's not playing in this game. He tore his ACL for Alabama. So in theory, they're down one of their weapons. So I think I would take Cincinnati to cover against this number, but to actually win the game, it's hard for me to go against Nick Saban in the franchise that is Alabama. It is very hard. So I'm joining you there. Yes, Alabama, I have them just as you winning the game, but covering 13.5, I don't think Alabama does it. I think Cincinnati keeps it within that number. And I think this would be a little more of an entertaining game than maybe what some would think, and a little bit of a closer game than what some would think. So, but in another universe, if Cincinnati wins it, I mean, I'm not mad either. So, right. so that's my take on it. Next matchup will clearly be the number 3 Georgia versus number 2 Michigan. Georgia, they are 7.5 point favorites. 45 is the over under. Georgia, in their last 17 games, they've only lost 1 game, Mook. In Michigan, they've won their last 5 games. In those 5 games, they've also covered each of those games, and the total has gone under in 6 of Georgia's last 9 games overall. So I feel this will be a low scoring game in this matchup. But with that being said, Mook, let's pick the winner.
This one's tough. The other one, I was pretty sure the whole time about Alabama. This one, I've gone back and forth with ways that.
This is the matchup. This is the one.
Yeah, this is the one. This might be, for me, I mean, the most interesting matchup of the playoffs. I think that Michigan's offensive line has an opportunity to make a statement in this game. The defensive, only Wisconsin's been better against the run, I believe, than Georgia. So you're talking about a Georgia defense that, is pretty historically good this year. I mean, it's been dominating, especially when you talk about in the SEC. Now, them being on the east side of that, they didn't see as many good teams as maybe or more prolific teams, I should say, as on the west side. I don't know. It's still better than 90% of the country. So they've seen good opponents. Michigan's got a big physical offensive line. They've got an NFL guy at each level on the defense. Now you could say, of course, Georgia does too, sure. But Georgia doesn't always see teams that aren't named Alabama that have that as well. If Michigan, and this is the big if they can find ways to stay ahead of the chains, so, moving the ball on the ground, and they're able to make some plays out of the play action, and keep them chains going, and don't give up the big play on defense, on Georgia's defense. Don't give that pick six up or the scoop and score fumble. If they can do those things, play clean, I like their chances a lot in this game. The problem is that defense on Georgia makes a lot of plays. Mm-hmm. And it's not the Georgia offense, even though they have improved through the year, that I feel is very scary. It's the defense making something happen. I think this is a low-scoring game. I unfortunately feel like, and I don't want to say unfortunately, I just would kind of like to see Michigan move on. I guess.
You want to see chaos, Mook?
Yeah, I do. I do, and I want the Big Ten to hold their head up, high and head into that. Because if Michigan can win this game, I said it to you a couple weeks ago, I think they match up better against Alabama than they do in this game. So I'm gonna take Georgia reluctantly. I think that I hope that it's a very good football game, hard hitting, and just all out war. And I think it can be, but I just think there's a little bit too much team speed on the defensive side for Georgia. Maybe a little too big, maybe a little too strong, and maybe too athletic. And so, in a close one, maybe even within the spread, maybe it's a field goal game, 4 point, something like that. But I'm gonna take Georgia. Yeah,
you make a lot of great points, and Georgia's tough. They were number one all year until they faced, the franchise that is Alabama, and then, they fell down a couple spots in number 3, but they were the most dominant team all year. That was evident. So a lot of great points, and I understand it, Mook. I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Wolverines to not only cover this number, 7.5, which I think is a little bit of disrespect, to be honest, but also to win this matchup. I'm looking at the stats again. Again, I've talked about it. You can throw these out. You can do whatever you wish with them. But total yards, Michigan is better on offense. Passing yards, Georgia's better. Rushing yards, Michigan is way better. Points per game, they're both top 10, top 12 teams. Defensively, obviously you got to give, you got to give the tilt to Georgia, but Michigan is no slouch on defense, right? Michigan averages, they allow 16 points a game. Georgia, they allow 9.5 points a game. Rushing and passing and total yards, Georgia wins on the defensive end. But again, you talk about offense, Michigan has been a better offense all year. And the thing I want people to think about is that when the team that both these teams had a huge matchup this year, huge. They all play some really good games, but we're talking about games where, hey, everything is on the line. This is a team that we match up with. They have the same type of athletes that we have. We're looking in the mirror when we play this team. Georgia had that against Alabama. How did they fare against Alabama? They lost by 17 points.
Right.
Okay. Michigan, they had the same scenario. Had a team that arguably a lot of people think have better athletes, better players, have historically been better. I know it was on their home field, but they smacked up Ohio State. Right. So. Yeah. That being said right there, that is enough for me to be able to pick the Wolverines in this matchup. And again, we're going to look up a year or two from now. We're going to see how many NFL players are not only coming from Georgia in this game, but also coming from Michigan in this game. So I think when you talk about comparing these two teams, it's easy to say, Georgia had this great year and, Georgia football, SEC, yada, yada. But Michigan plays a tough schedule as well. And they're no slouches. And they got some top recruits as well. And to me, this is their magical year. I don't even think they started the year ranked. if I'm not mistaken.
No,
They weren't even a ranked team to begin the year, Mook. And now they're number two in the country playing in the college football playoffs.
Everybody was calling for Harbaugh's head. He was going to be gone.
Exactly. After the COVID year last year, right, the shortened season, everyone was like, "Hey, maybe this is, his last year. Maybe he goes back to the NFL." Well, I think he's there to stay, and it's there to stay for a long time. So I got Michigan covering this number, and I got Michigan in the upset over Georgia in this. What is this? This is the I should know this. This is the Orange Bowl, and I have Michigan playing against Alabama in the national title game. Yeah. I cannot wait, by the way. Mook, we have 5 more minutes. I don't know if we're going to get to all the New Year's 6 games. Let's do this, because this is, we won't be able to get to them. All right.
Yeah.
But with those games, we will pick those games, Mook and I, and we will send those out so the fans can at least see them, see our takes on them. And maybe I'll give a little insight on why we're picking each game or each team. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, cool, man. Hey, well, it's good to be back with you, man. It's been too long. I know it's holiday season. We got to be able to breathe and live life outside of the microphone. But it's good to have you back, buddy.
Absolutely, man. It's good. It's been a while for sure, and there's let's just hope that these bowl games, that not just the playoff, that these teams bring it. I'm a little disappointed by so many of the opt-outs. And we can talk about that in the post bowl, wrap up or whatever. Yeah, but I'm a little, when you hear all the players from Ohio State not playing now, in the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, it's disheartening, man. So, but I also, hey man, there's a future there. So somewhere college football's got to find a balance, and let's just hope that we get good football, because no matter what, if it's Noah Olave and Wilson, all that, there's some good players behind them. So yes, we should see some good football regardless in these bowl games, even with opt-outs. It just makes them harder to predict.
Yeah, well, we see that for sure. We see that on a personal level for sure. It's much harder to predict. We'll definitely hit on that topic, Mook, because that's something that I know you're passionate about it, me as well. But, at the end of the day, I am looking forward to great games this week. We will send out our picks for the New Year's games. Obviously, you guys know how we feel about the college football playoffs. I mean, it feels like the season is coming to an end, but you look up, we still got a few more weeks, Mook. Which is crazy, man, and which is awesome too, us being huge college football fans. So I think that wraps it up. You have anything else you want to say to the people?
No, not at all. Just, stay healthy and as you can. And, we're hopefully there's a lot of things going on out there. Hopefully we can get well just take care of one another. And it's still the holiday season, so hopefully we head into New Year with a full head of steam going.
Yes. And I agree with that totally. And I am looking forward to the New Year's. I want to give an early birthday shout out to my nephew. He is turning 10 New Year's Eve. So, awesome. Man, I remember when he was, born in the delivery room, man. Gosh.
Yeah.
A little guy. He's a bigger guy now. He's a big kid. You may be looking up, Mook. You may be looking at one of the Georgias, Michigan, one of the Alabamas. You may be looking at a left tackle. You know what I mean?
Ooh, all right. I like that.
He's got good size, Mook, like legit good size.
I like that.
So cool, man. So, hey, fans, enjoy these games. Hopefully all of them will be played. If they're not, there are going to be many more really good ones. I know for sure there are 2 games that will be played. Probably the 2 most important games, and those are the college football playoffs. So those games will be played. I would imagine a majority of the New Year's 6 games will be played. I can't wait. Even some of the smaller bowls, I've been locked in on those. So it's been great to enjoy. It's been great to see. It's been some really good football, even with the opt-outs, even with the COVID stuff. The games that have been played, to me, they've been really good, entertaining games. So fans, enjoy the rest of this bowl season. You will hear from us soon. And from us to you, this is me, Coach T. Continue to show us love, We'll keep bringing you that funk. Peace.